So that's the merge. Proto-dank sharding, so opens up more data space, transactions will become cheaper, and compression means the transactions get even cheaper again, right? Cheap, 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 yay. Yeah, no. Yeah, no, I mean, I know there's, inflation and like 8.5% and like gas prices are going up, but like here, gas prices are going down.
Yes, welcome back everybody to Altcoin Daily. My name's Austin. That was, of course, Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin speaking at the 2022 Blockchain Futurist conference in Canada that just happened a few days ago. Now, Vitalik was explaining what to expect after the merge, and in today's video, if you hold Ethereum, that's exactly what I want to share with you. We'll go over frequently asked questions, what you need to do, the possibility of a contentious hard fork, meaning will we see two chains if the miners don't want to switch? And then, of course, I'll finish by playing you a few clips of what Vitalik expects, what he sees post-merge. So like always, check the timestamps down below, hit the like button, and very quickly, let's go over frequently asked questions for this upcoming merge. Number 1, do Ethereum holders need to do anything with their Ethereum to prepare for the merge? The answer is no. Ethereum hodlers do not need to do anything. They can rest assured that their stored or staked ETH will be converted from ETH to ETH2 post-merge. ETH will also maintain the same ticker symbol. So this applies to the vast majority of people in this audience. If you have your ETH on a ledger, MetaMask, Trezor, most major centralized exchanges, don't worry about it. You don't have to do anything. Now, what will happen to your staked ETH? Meaning, when will you be able to withdraw if you staked into the ETH2 contract? Because we know, much like stored ETH, staked ETH holders, you don't have to do anything specifically. It will automatically convert. But when can you withdraw? Well, stakers will be unable to make withdrawals immediately on their staked ETH, but only 6 to 12 months after the merge will that become unlocked. In what will be known as the Shanghai upgrade, users will be able to withdraw staked ETH with a daily withdrawal limit of 40,000 ETH per day out of the total tens of millions in overall ETH staked. So that's a big point I wanted to address. If you have a different question about the Ethereum merge that I didn't necessarily cover in today's video, comment down below. I will be checking your comments. And next up, for this upgrade, if we are switching from proof of work, making the network proof of stake, meaning instead of miners, now stakers supporting the network, are the miners angry about that? And then will there be problems because of it? Well, ETH POW team, meaning basically a bunch of the miners, say that its miner-led Ethereum fork is inevitable, meaning they're not going to switch, they're going to cause a hard fork. The Ethereum proof of work team issued an open letter discussing its firm plan to fork Ethereum. Also, the project said it has removed the difficulty bomb on its version of the Ethereum code in preparation for the fork. So trouble is a-brewin'. Let's find out the details of this open letter. ETH POW is a planned fork of Ethereum led by a miner called Chandler Goy. It aims to split away from the Ethereum main network, meaning this would result in two blockchains, each with its own version of the protocols and tokens running on the chain. And for perspective, Ethereum has seen something like this before. We know that Ethereum, what we love today, was forked out of Ethereum Classic because, again, there was a contentious hard fork. Now, most people just chose Ethereum. What we know, Vitalik chose Ethereum, Consensus, the development team chose Ethereum. Yet, because it was a hard fork, two chains were created, and thus we had two tokens. That is what ETH POW is threatening to do in September. ETH POW issued an open letter addressed to Ethereum Classic Cooperative, the development team behind Ethereum Classic, telling them that we're not going to send our miners back to ETH Classic. We're going to create our own chain. And why does ETH POW not like Ethereum Classic's solution? Why would they not simply just migrate back to that original chain, which is still going to be proof of work? Well, in a statement, they argued that Ethereum Classic will not accommodate all the existing Ethereum miners. Hence, they claimed there's a need for not one, but multiple proof of work forks. In a direct quote from ETH POW team, they said, "The small pool of Ethereum Classic cannot hold the entire computing power of Ethereum at all. This is a hard fact. In the face of such hard facts, this hard fork is inevitable. Wow. That is, I mean, they sound very firm on their stance that this is happening. In fact, in terms of when, according to the letter, the ETH POW would execute the fork in September, potentially around the same time as the merge. So in about a month's time. But two, I don't really buy that Ethereum Classic wouldn't be able to hold all the miners if the ETH miners just chose to come back to that original Classic chain. There's no reason that the entire mining computer power couldn't go back to ETH Classic. That would just make Ethereum Classic so strong, so secure as a network. I think they just want to make their own rules and start fresh and do their own thing. Give me your thoughts on this down below. As I get more details, I will keep you updated. And last but not least, let's talk about what Vitalik sees post-merge, what will happen to the network after September. And that clip I showed you at the beginning of cheaper fees, just know that a more scalable, cheaper Ethereum network is not happening with the merge. That's not what Vitalik was saying. He was saying that after the merge, the goals are number 1, sharding, and number 2, rollups. With those two upgrades many months later, that's where the scalability comes. Now, the merge is needed in September to start that, even though we're already seeing progress for rollups and innovation in these categories. Vitalik, please quickly explain.
Right, so there's like a lot of this work is work that's actually started to happen. So a couple of months ago, Optimism actually implemented a 0-byte compression. And ERC 4337 is also an effort that's been really picking up steam over the last couple of months, right? So a lot of effort to help the Ethereum chain hold a lot more data, and a lot of effort to help every individual transaction in a rollup use less data. So we're talking about Ethereum over the next couple of years being able to process a much larger amount of transactions than it has been able to before.
Okay, so I guess scalability in full is actually still years away, but the merge is that first step. But once we get there, the Ethereum network will be unstoppable in terms of use case, according to Vitalik. Listen to this first of 3 clips of Vitalik talking about digital identity, with this first one talking about ENS, which is a blockchain naming protocol. Watch this.
Non-financial applications, right? So one of the big things about Ethereum is like, Ethereum is not just a payment system, right? And there's supposed to be this like big array of all of these other amazing things that you could use blockchains to do. Right, so ENS is like by far the most popular non-financial application on the Ethereum blockchain, right? And I think the reason why is pretty clear. It's just a really valuable and useful tool. And I think the interesting thing about ENS is that it's like one piece of a puzzle that where there are a couple of other pieces that are very complementary to it that can help to like actually create basically like some kind of decentralized identity ecosystem on top of Ethereum, right? So you have ENS, and ENS lets you have a username without that username being tied to a company that controls it.
All right, digital identity with that ENS component, obviously hugely important in our future of the digital world. But Vitalik goes on and says that ENS, in his musings, will just be one piece. Listen to him explain account management using smart contracts. He uses a Web2 analogy involving him getting locked out of his Amazon account and how we can use smart contracts to have account management in Web3. Watch this.
Account management, right? So, I mean, like I personally, a few months ago, like I had my Amazon account flags due to like some suspicious activity thing because I dare travel between different countries. There was a form and I filled in the form and at some point they said, okay, well, we filled in the form, but we don't have enough information and like, please hold on. And like basically I have not gotten my Amazon account back, right? So Web2 companies are like, they talk about how, centralization is good because like you at least provides recovery, but like somehow they've screwed this up so much that often they don't actually provide recovery. So what can we do? So Web3 can do this better, right? So for the last couple of years, I've been talking about this concept of social recovery where like you can choose, who your recovery contacts are, right? And like you can make whatever choices you want. So you can say, I'm going to have 5 recovery contacts. 2 of them are going to be an institution, 1 of them can be my employer, 1 of them can be my dad, 1 of them can be a friend. And any 3 of those 5 can come together and recover your account and kind of reset your key to something else, right? And this is something that you can put into the rules on a smart contract, put that on chain. You know, it's a very simple approach, and it's, I think, a sort of a model of security that is like both very decentralized, right? Like you're not giving up your control to any one single person, and it relies on forms of trust that people have and that people are good at, right? Like I think people, and especially less technical normal people, are going to be better at picking seven friends that they trust than they are going to be at like writing down 24 words and making sure they write it down correctly and making sure this weird piece of paper is like, they're going to be able to keep it for 10 years and not lose it or get it stolen ever. But, you know, so it's like actually a great solution, but implementing it correctly requires smart contract wallets.
All right. What do you think? Are you still with me? Are you still watching? I know this is a lot. I know that, I mean, these are musings from a very smart man. And the question is, will we look back in 10 years and realize he was absolutely right? Or do you disagree with what Vitalik is explaining or the solutions he is offering? Let me know. But number 3, the third clip out of 3 out of this digital identity trifecta is attestation, meaning evidence that you're actually a real person. Meaning that if in the future, everybody's living their life in the digital world, how do we know we're not communicating with bots? Or, you know, Elon Musk's beef with Twitter, saying that half the users, the comments he receives are all bots. Could we fix that with a Web3 solution? Listen to Vitalik explain attestation with Ethereum. Watch this.
That's the second piece of the puzzle. Third piece of the puzzle, attestations, right? So, you know, it would be nice, for example, if you can prove that your account actually is a human and that it's not a bot, right? So this is something that, like, for example, in the context of social media, a lot of people care about, right? So, you know, if you want to improve the quality of social media and like reduce the level of terrible stuff without kind of, you know, trying to impose specific political opinions or like control it in particular directions or whatever, one very simple thing that you could do is just make sure that, you know, the people who are posting actually are people instead of being like some fake kind of farm where you have one person controlling 5,000 accounts through a bot, right? But if you want to do this, then like you have to be able to actually tell, you know, who the real humans are and who the bots are. Now, fortunately, on-chain attestations can actually help, right? So like if you use your Ethereum account to sign into a service, the service can actually go and inspect, like, first of all, has this account ever sent a transaction, right? Sending a transaction requires paying a transaction fee. So just whether or not you sent a transaction is like the simplest possible filter that makes it hard to create 10,000 fake accounts, just by making it really expensive. Step 2, you can look at like things that account has done. You can check for a proof of humanity profile. You can check for like a pope. You know, it's a token that proves that you attended some particular event, right? There's like a lot of different things that you can check for. And once you do that, then you can get some kind of like better indication of like, well, how likely is it that this account actually is a unique person? Now, this is something that like we can improve over time, so we can combine it with, you know, fancy zero-knowledge stuff, and we can improve privacy. And you can do really fancy and cool stuff like prove you're a human without revealing which human you are, right? So we can have kind of privacy and better security at the same time. Now, these are all different kind of pieces that really fit into each other, right? So you want to have an account in order to sign into services and interact with services. Now, with that, you want your accounts to have a name. If you want to have a name, ENS is great for that. If you have an account, you want to be able to like manage that account, be able to change the key, do security stuff, on-chain smart contract wallets, and you want to prove things about yourself, on-chain attestations, or off-chain attestations could, kind of with proofs attached, could work as well, right? So all of these pieces really fit together into this kind of Ethereum identity ecosystem, and like to me, this is probably like the best candidate for sort of Ethereum's second major app, aside from the DeFi ecosystem.
Okay, this Ethereum identity ecosystem, very exciting on what the future could hold. Give me your thoughts on any of this down below, and like always, another video is coming tomorrow. I will see you tomorrow.